Let me ask you a question. Do you remember kindergarten? The friends, the games, the snacks, the naps? Yeah, kindergarten was amazing. One of my fondest memories of kindergarten was when I was selected to be the line leader. Now, for those who are unaware or for those who have forgotten, the line leader was arguably the most important and the most desired position in all of kindergarten. Line leaders would stand at the front of the line and they would be given an opportunity to lead the entire class from one place to another. This was a position of direction, influence, and prestige. Without question, everybody wanted to be the line leader. Fortunately, the beauty of kindergarten was that everybody got an opportunity eventually to be the line leader. Too bad society is not like kindergarten. History features the long lasting presence of patriarchy in culture, policy, legislation, and throughout civilization as a whole. Indeed, the subjugating systems of patriarchy have truly impacted women negatively in all aspects of life. Studies show that patriarchal structures restrict women from leadership positions in most mainstream industries such as business, education, government, and nonprofit sectors around the globe. However, research shows that Black churches are one of the most flagrant in these acts. Black churches market themselves through media and the like as places that solicit and embrace all people into their warm and inviting spaces. Yet, many Black churches deny Black women opportunities to lead the lines in their congregations. Black women are not only skipped over, Black women are totally ignored. One study found that although Black women make up the largest population in U.S. Black churches, they only lead 1% of the aforementioned. Research reveals that these numbers have little to do with meritocracy. Conversely, the disproportionate numbers are actually a result of intentional gender discrimination. In fact, another study confirmed that the male-dominated leadership positions from which Black women are historically restricted are places that have been designated as, quote, sacredly masculine, end quote. The aim of this study is to expose the problem of gender discrimination in U.S. Black churches. I will use the data collected to identify and address systemic barriers that unjustly prevent Black women from obtaining leadership roles in order to ultimately instigate more equitable practices for Black women in U.S. Black churches. Little John and Foss's gender role theory and Crenshaw's intersectionality theory guide the conceptual framework of this study. I will examine how Black church functions as the structure that designates men as appropriate leaders and subsequently denies Black women access to leadership roles therein. I will also explore through an intersectional lens how Black women, continuing the language from Du Bois's Souls of the Black Folks, live and navigate through life with what I call a triple consciousness, one whereby Black women operate within at least three permeating and complex spheres: American, Black, and female. I will present a model whereby reinterpretation of scripture highlight the intersectionality of Black women and also challenge Black churches to deconstruct and dismantle sexist and patriarchal gender role expectations. This research will propose the following questions in order to better understand the factors that drive the disproportionately low rate of Black women leaders in predominantly African American Christian churches. Question 1. What, if any, barriers that exist that prevent Black women from assuming leadership roles in Black churches? Research question number 2. To what extent are Black women granted the same leadership opportunities as Black men in Black churches? The qualitative case study research design will be used in this research in order to investigate the real life context surrounding the problem of practice. I will explore this problem by using experimental analysis and by using a semi-structured interview protocol. I will capture and lift the words, stories, and experiences of Black clergy persons in the Black church. The study will sample and gather data from 12 interview participants over the course of 4 weeks. The study will utilize non-probability, purposeful sampling via Facebook and marketing as the primary method to select participants that will best help me understand the problem and research questions. The criteria for the sampling will include 9 Black women clergy who live in the U.S. and 3 Black male clergy who live in the U.S. The interview participants will vary in experience, age, and credentials. The study will focus exclusively on Black clergy persons as a means to answer the proposed research questions and understand the disparities and the discrepancies between Black men and Black women leadership positions in the Black church. Each interview will be recorded and transcribed with the participants' consent using Outer AI software to analyze data and ultimately increase the credibility and trustworthiness of the study. I will use coding as a method to assist me in capturing, understanding, and analyzing the unique perspectives and combined experiences of the interview participants. My positionality causes me to view this problem of practice through a lens of great privilege. I identify as a Black heterosexual man who holds licensure and ordination from a Black church. Additionally, I lead a Black church as a senior pastor. The aforementioned stands as the highest credentials and the top role of leadership in the Black church, each of which were bestowed upon me without any significant resistance from any congregation. Occupying my role has cultivated a deep appreciation for the opportunities allotted to me, but it has also made me aware of the countless qualified Black women excluded from these same positions. Although I consider myself an advocate for gender equality, I still operate with many blind spots. The apparent blind spot is that I am a man attempting to unearth issues that directly impact Black women. I recognize that I'm sometimes guilty of assuming what gender equity looks like for women through my limited perspective. These assumptions, albeit genuine, may cause me to act prematurely and unproductively. Moreover, my biases can influence me to engage in research from a flawed, monolithic perspective, where I presume that all Black women share the same perspective concerning this problem of practice. To review, evidence shows that Black women hold disproportionately lower leadership roles than Black men in Black churches. This study will capture and analyze the perspectives of Black clergy persons residing in the U.S. in order to understand this problem. The researcher will present the gathered data from 12 interview participants in order to address the problem and ultimately instigate more equitable practices for Black women in Black churches. I've included some references for your viewing, and I'm happy to provide a more extensive list at your request. That concludes my presentation today. Thank you again for your presence and your thoughtful attention. Your expertise is invaluable, and your feedback will greatly enhance this research. Thank you again.